If you have not downloaded Comet yet and you would like to follow along today, head over to perplexity.ai/download Comet and log in with your Enterprise Pro account. And if you just want to follow along later, you can totally do that too. We'll be sending out a recording afterwards. I'm super excited. I'm just gonna do a little slow fade out of the Perplexity radio. If you're curious, we do have a beats to browse too. Some really cool images too, if you wanna bookmark that for later. But hi everyone, great to meet everyone. We haven't met before, I'm Jenny. I am on the product marketing team here at Perplexity, and I'm super excited to share how best to use Comet at work today on this session. So Comet is an agentic browser. It really takes the context within your windows and gets you accurate answers and takes action for you on behalf of you. And what we're really trying to do is support knowledge workers to make more accurate decisions faster. And earlier this year, Perplexity launched file app connectors. That was our first step into being able to connect to the context that you had in your day-to-day. You're doing a lot of work in files, in your presentations, in Excel sheets, etc. And a lot of folks are saying, hey, like, can you please find a way to connect to all of these other apps that I use on a day-to-day? And from the chat, it's so great to see so many folks from different industries. There are a lot of great apps out there built for different industries, for different verticals. And our next step to be able to support our customers to be able to get that contextual information in answers is by building a browser. And we want to make sure that you get better results. So when I think about Comet, I'm not just thinking about it as another browser. I'm thinking about how it is an everyday AI assistant. So I'm going to share a lot about how Perplexity employees use it, share a bit about how our customers' employees use it. So I'm excited. Please let me know if you also get any ideas when you see me jump into some of the examples here. So when I think about my day, a lot of knowledge workers' days, I think you can bucket it into three ways. There's the working work, which is the administrative, sending emails, calendar invitations, project management. Gotta love project management. Said with sarcasm if you couldn't hear that. There's a thinking work, which is gathering your facts, making data-informed decisions, and making sure that you're making an accurate decision to maybe deploy capital or to run a marketing campaign. And also there's the creating work, which is building those assets and those documents to communicate those ideas, both internally to your teammates or externally to your customers. And at Perplexity, we're really thinking about how we build our products to help you as an assistant to go about your day-to-day. And the way that we do that is through three ways. We are better understanding your context of what's in your window, being able to better personalize your answers. So we have recently launched memory to understand who you are, what do you usually look for. So if I say like, hey, give me beats to browse to, it's going to know what I like personally, or what types of maybe companies I'm looking at. They'll know that Perplexity knows that I look at a lot of our ideal customer profiles. And last but not least, across the board, we also can run agentic actions on behalf of you. So excited to share a little bit more of that, but I just want to take a quick beat on security. I know a lot of folks are asking about new agentic browsers. Is this still secure? And we are taking security just as seriously as we do with Perplexity, our original product. And when you're using Comet as an enterprise user, and when you're interacting with Perplexity within Comet, we still don't train on your data. So all of those agreements with our LLM providers still maintain the same clause of we do not train on our enterprise customers' data. Comet also respects your DNS server roles. So if you don't want your employees to be accessing certain websites, Comet will respect that. And we also recently released a few enterprise security features of premium features on being able to access audit logs. So when people are using Comet, they're uploading or downloading information, what they're searching, you still have access to that. And you can also see, are people using Comet? Are they also using spaces, labs, etc.? You have access to that in your dashboard as well. And then also, last but not least, configurable data retention. You can configure it up to 1 day of data retention, and to 7, etc., just for data security. So check that out in the settings tab. All right. Now, I'm already in Comet and really want to introduce you to the few main entry points of how it is a bit different of how you can interact with Perplexity. Comet is built on Chromium, so you'll see that there's a browser, there's bookmarks, there's extensions, but there's a few ways to access Perplexity, which is you can, ask a question in this browser bar, or you could also ask it in this box below. It might look familiar. It might look like Perplexity's homepage. You can still access, your search, deep research, and labs. You could also access the different models and sources that you want to search through. And then my favorite part is this assistant toolbar. The assistant takes the context within your main window that you have up. It can also look at other tabs if you ask it to. So back to the buckets of working, thinking, and doing. I think in today's world, I am very overwhelmed with all the different tabs, all the different apps, and Comet really helps me focus in on what I'm trying to do. I am always on back-to-back calls, and there is the only way to make the most of those calls. I already do my best to make sure that meetings couldn't have been an email, but it's even asking Comet to personalize and ask to prep for your day. So because I have already added Gmail and GCal into to be able for Comet to read, I can just ask Comet to say, hey, can you prep me for my meetings tomorrow? Make sure to share any context on the meeting. And I always am looking for times to block out for deep work to do the thinking work. So I'm going to put that in there. And it's thinking like Perplexity usually does. It's going to go through the different steps and also go through the sources. So you can see that it is going through my Google Calendar sourcing. I have a performance review tomorrow. Let's see how that goes. But it's giving me details and even connecting to Google Calendar here to say, okay, this is a regular sync with AJ. You know the deal. But at the very bottom, it's also saying, hey, like you can look at these times for deep work. So after the gym, et cetera, et cetera. And with Comet, it's just being able to stay focused, prep you for your day. And you could even create this as a shortcut if you want to do this every day. So it's going to take the instructions that you provide in a Perplexity at first, and then you can create a shortcut name for it. So this way, every time you open Comet, you just run the shortcut and it'll pull it up for you every day. I also have it at a little shortcut on the home tab, and I just click it in the morning while I'm drinking my coffee so I can get ready. Another thing that I really like using the assistant bar is I feel like AI is pretty good at getting me to V1. I'm personally not at the point where I just blindly trust what it's giving me and call it a day. But as a product marketer, I'm building a bunch of demo videos so our customers can look at the videos, onboard themselves, etc. But a lot of that it's not just filming the video, it's also creating the assets, pushing it onto our website. And you can see here, I'm using Supercut, great video recorder platform if you haven't checked it out. You can see that there's chapters and transcripts. And what I like to do when I post videos on our website is I want to make sure that for the folks who don't like going through the videos, they can also go through and read a description as well. So I have a prompt here is, hey, I really want to create a video description about this video to post on my website. And the main goal is to make sure that customers understand across the different timestamps what is happening in the video so I can quickly jump to it. So again, it's taking the context. It understands that there's a lot of the transcript down here to read through, and it's giving me bullets by each section to be able to search, to be able to pull that context. Really quickly, quick plug. We have a bunch of, speaking of these videos, we have a bunch of resources on the Enterprise Resource Hub. So there's a lot of those videos. You'll see that maybe Comet has helped me with the assistant there. There's a lot of space templates here as well as trainings. So after we wrap up today, I'm going to be posting this training on here as well. We also have a monthly onboarding workshop. So if you have any questions, feel free to come join Jason and I. Just to drop in and ask questions will also help you get onboarded with Perplexity and Comet. Okay, I already opened 5 different tabs in today's workshop. I am curious to know how many folks, what's the average number of tabs you have open on a given day? And I back to the theme of like, I get so distracted when I have a billion tabs open. For example, who here researches software in their day-to-day? It was probably not a part of your job description, but there's so much software out there, new tools out there, and you're always trying to better understand what's the best one for my business. And I used to work at Ramp. So let's say if you're looking for corporate cards and you want to just compare Ramp's pricing and Brex's pricing. Okay, the old way, you would have to open up a spreadsheet, copy and paste all this information, try to better understand what you want. And with Comet, you could essentially say, hey, I want to compare, and this is where you can cross-reference tabs. You can press at and hit the tab that you're on. You can also hit a tab that you have open elsewhere. And I want to compare Ramp and Brex. My team is looking for a quick and easy way to submit expenses. We do a lot of T&E. And maybe what you can take it another step further is that Perplexity can still access the web as well. So it's saying, okay, I want to understand what other customers have said about the 2 platforms. Gives me pros and cons. So again, instead of opening a billion other tabs, looking through a bunch of this research, I already have a tab that is information that is comparing all this information, giving me different pros and cons. You can still see the different sources that you would in Perplexity. And okay, this is pretty good information to get me started. If I do hop on a call, I at least understand how best to share what my needs are and what better questions to dig into. So this is a lot of what I'm showing you is on the contextual side of things, having access to your tabs, understanding the information on it. But I want to go a little bit deeper into the personalization and the agentic piece of it. For example, you saw that it connected to my Gmail and my calendar earlier. And okay, so let's say I want to send this thread to my teammate Janetta via email, ask her for her thoughts on where she's leaning, set up 15 minutes for us next week to discuss. So instead of clicking the email tab, the Google Calendar tab, finding and maybe even opening Slack to let her know that I'm going to be setting this up, I can fire this query off and I can go out about my day. Okay, so it looks like there's no availability. Right, she's going on vacation next week. I am not going to bother her. Say week of, I think it's September 15 is good. So you'll see that Comet sometimes prompts you to confirm how you want to proceed with the task that it's doing. Okay, we're going to schedule it. And these are details that you can, refine in your prompts to say, hey, like asking for confirmation before doing certain things. Okay, let's send this. Looks like it's going to Janetta. But if you want to be a part of the loop, you can always ask it to just, don't ask me for permission, just go ahead and do it. So that was just one whole workflow of searching up different platforms, different information, sending communications to Janetta, and that was all within one browser. So I know maybe not everyone's looking at expense management platforms, but there's a lot of comparing, contrasting, information in different tabs that the web doesn't always have access to. This is a great way to gather that information and make a decision on by yourself or with your teammates. Okay. Another thing that I have found takes a lot of time is responding to customer emails. Is anyone here in a customer facing role? Responding to a lot of customer emails? Okay. We love our customers. Sometimes they have a lot of questions, and sometimes they have questions that at the back of your hand, but you still have to spend the time typing. Gotta love it. What I did here, Emilio, he's actually part of our support team, just to make sure that no one's PI was being exposed. But one thing here is that if Perplexity, yes, the comment does understand, the types of information that you're looking at, the types of sources. But one favorite shortcut that I have created is this quick reply for me. And in these instructions, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Doesn't look like I can, but it's saying, hey, act like a customer support specialist and help me draft an email format back to the in email message back to the user, keep the language easy to understand, look at the whole conversation tone, and reply accordingly. I'm also asking it to reference our Help Center article so it knows that it is trusted information, most up to date that our support team is referencing. And make sure it doesn't sound like AI, right? Like don't use M dashes, write like a human, and always sign off with best regards. So once I save that and I can just hit reply, it's going to take the context in your window again, your email, and oh, looks like it didn't press enter. Oh, there we go. Now it's drafting a reply for me. Again, it's usually a V1. Let's see what it gets. And we can, I could even take it a step further and edit the instructions to say, load up the email response within the email, don't hit send. So this is where, again, takes you to a V1, can quickly help you draft these messages. And so customer emails maybe don't have to take as long as they usually do. You might have also seen when I was editing the shortcut that there is a copy link. Let's say, hey, Jason, Janetta, this is so helpful. It has saved me so much time. I'm going to send it over to my teammates and you can share that link as well. Another thing that I also do want to call out is that when you're editing your shortcuts, it can still adjust the different search modes. You know, you can still default to the best model or choose the specific type of model you want it to support. Enterprise Pro users have access to be able to edit the model. And you can also choose which sources that you want it to use as well. This is maybe a little bit of sneak peek of what app connectors are coming soon. But another shortcut that I've been finding myself using is I built a shortcut to help me fact check certain items, certain posts. There's a lot of fluff out there, a lot of information. Some may be outdated, some may be not true, some may be true, but we just want to do a double check. And this is where all of, let's see, we opened the assistant back up. This is where you can, I have my fact check data points shortcuts. And I'm going to fact check every data point, tell me if it's true or not. And when you go into the advanced, let's say if you're mostly fact checking financial data, this is where you can also make sure it's searching through SEC filings. You can also have it search through specific websites. So let's say, because this is a little bit more on the financial point, I'm just going to do a fact check every data point in this LinkedIn post or not. So let's see what it comes up with. Great. So it is, again, you can see all the sources that it's sourcing through. Might be familiar with Perplexity already. You can also see all the different steps that it went through. And you can then quickly gut check, like, okay, I feel better making a decision off of this or sharing this information with my team. So I always love it when Perplexity just organizes information for me to easily read. Curious to know, now that I've showed a few shortcuts, does anyone have any ideas of what shortcuts they would be building? I did my best to keep it a bit general since we have so many different industries and folks. Fake news detector, templated responses, those are great. Please demo a few more. Okay, Jeffrey, let's see what else I have up my sleeve. Okay, I got one. I really want an Ermin Miller Eames chair. I just can't get myself to spend the money on an Eames chair. I personally don't know how I feel about spending $5,600 on a chair and ottoman. It is very comfortable. I've sat in it before, and maybe let's say like we're sprucing up the office and we only have so much of a budget, and I just want to find something similar. I love the look of it. I love the feel. Let's say, can you find me and link me products similar in style and friendlier in price? If you're doing a lot of shopping, this is also great for finding similar tools and products. All right, there you go. Okay, let's see. These seem friendlier, but again, you can also come all the way at the bottom and you can save this query as a shortcut, and maybe you could just say call the shortcut dupe. Okay, someone was asking, what if you wanted to know when the chair went on sale? And I also saw someone ask about tasks earlier. So when you go to your settings, you can also look at, you can open up tasks. So let's say if you are wanting to find information about any updates on the news. So let's say I saw a couple of folks who are joining us on from some law firms, and let's say you just want some updates on a day-to-day about a specific ruling that is updated. This is where you can come in and say, please search the news every day about, let's say, AI regulations. And this is where you can also get specific, and maybe you want to do it in specifically in California, New York, and also the EU. So again, you can specify what research you wanted to do, what what model you would want it to be running off of. And you could say, okay, I actually want this to run daily, every morning, and I want to make sure that it is in app, email, and push notification. So this is where it can be automated and it's going to show up in your app, email, etc. But you can also create it as if you just want to do a one-off. We can go back to our home screen. You can edit your widget, and this is where you can add more ideas. So you can add a shortcut. You can also edit a little bit. You can see I'm calling in from Park Slope today. Okay, this one gave me an idea for a quick dinner. Give me 3 ideas. Okay, that's a great one. I wonder, maybe I'll let Comet decide what I'm gonna have for dinner today. Okay. I feel like I haven't showed as much agentic stuff. I am just taking a look at the clock right now. I want to make sure that we have some time to answer questions, but one thing I've been personally using Comet for is to help me finish the job of enrichment that maybe my enrichment tools couldn't. This is just an example, just to make sure that we don't share any PII. But you got Jenny, Janetta, and Jason today on from the Perplexity team. And maybe it is going to be super annoying to go through Apollo, find me the information, or download this Excel sheet and bring it into Clay, then ask it to enrich. And this is where, again, the assistant can be super helpful. And you can say, great, find me the LinkedIn URLs of these people, right in their bio. Let's say I'm hosting an event next Wednesday about agentic browsers, maybe personalize, right? And personalize, I can type a note to invite them and put it in column D. So again, I can go grab a cup of coffee. I can go, do something else that is on my to-do list. And you can see that it's looking through, it's breaking these searches out by 3. It's not saying, okay, I'm going to do Jenny first, and then Janetta, and then Jason. It's searching Jenny, Janetta, and then Jason at the same time. Don't know why it's editing my company. Okay, maybe I should have told it to specifically put it in column C. But when you see this blue flashing glow around the window, that means it's doing an agentic action on behalf of you. So let's say like, okay, don't necessarily like what it's doing right now. You can always pause it and go back and refine your query. So I've pulled up Linear, and I already have an existing project here. We're going to be launching some app connectors soon. And here are all the assets that I want it to launch. And let's say we just got off our weekly call, and you can add in all of the additional tasks, ask it to add dates, and then you could even ask them to send a note out. So maybe let's say, what's something else that I want to make sure that we have? Draft a add a task to make sure we build out a customer email, assign it to Jenny, me, and make sure the due date is by end of day tomorrow. You could even ask it within the same query to send out an email to the team on this project, letting them know about updates. All right. I see someone asking about this page. This is actually our own Linear. So you can use this and ask it to run it in Asana, in Jira, etc. All right, I know we have 10 minutes left, so just wanted to give you an idea of what we can do. Overall, I just wanted to share just again how Comet can be agentic. how it can be contextual and see all the information and be your AI assistant, and also just help you personalize your workflow. And I really hope this was helpful today to see, hopefully it gave you some inspiration of how you would use Comet in your day-to-day. And I really think that it's not just about knowledge worker productivity, and the agentic browsers are here to stay to be able to help you out. But it's not just helping you out, it's also about how a lot of customers and folks find new information. The way that we will interact with the internet will change. The way that folks will find your businesses will change, and hopefully by interacting with Comet and other agentic browsers, you'll have a better idea and be prepared of how folks will be interacting with the browser in the future. So I'm so glad you guys found it helpful.